All you need out is a pencil. You can put your ISNs on the corner of your desk. We are going to pick up with the Incas talking about their economy because they have an economy that's different from every other civilization that we've studied. Am I talking loud enough? Okay. Well, I haven't really gotten started, so we can cut that part out. All right. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is government decisions. So we're kind of incorporating government and economy and how the government decisions affected the quality of life for people within the Inca Empire. Okay, so we're on the side of your graphic organizer that says government decisions. Okay, and we're going to start this together and then you guys are going to work in your groups here in just a second. So we're on the government decisions side. The side I gave to you up. Yeah. Alright, so we're starting with the introduction, and I'm going to read the introduction to you. And as we're reading, pay attention to what the government is deciding. So what are some of the things the government's doing, and how does that affect the life of the people in there? So follow along with me as I'm reading the introduction. So when the Incas conquered a territory, all the land and many of the resources in the area, such as mines or livestock, became the property of the empire. All the land in a conquered territory was divided into thirds. 1/3 belonged to the Inca state, 1/3 belonged to Inca state religion, and 1/3 was left to the peasants. The peasants used this land to grow crops and raise animals for their own use, and they were also responsible for farming the other 2/3 of the territory, for the benefit of the Inca government and state religion, with its thousands of higher and lower priests, attendants, monuments, and festivities. So if we were going to pull out the most important facts out of this first paragraph, what would we need to pull out about the government decisions? Isabel, what would you pull out?
The land was put into thirds.
Okay, so they divided the lands into thirds. So if I were you, I'd be bullet pointing on my notes. So they divided the land into thirds. What did that land go towards? Did everybody just get to keep the land that they had and do whatever they'd always done when the Inca came in and took over? Rylan?
A third belonged to the Inca state, a third belonged to the religion, and a third belonged to the peasants.
Good. So they took 2/3 of their land away. A third of it went to the government, a third went to the religion, and a third was left for the peasants, the farmers.
It's pretty nice.
Okay. So I'd be putting those notes down in the introduction box. Yep. All right, so now what I want you to do in your tables is you guys can take turns reading and do the management of government-owned land. And as you're going through, be thinking about what are some of the government decisions that are being made and how does that affect the people who are living there. Okay, I'll give you about 7 minutes to do this.
Michael E. Mosley.
3 minutes to finish for management of government-owned land. Alright, so pause where you are just for a second. I want to make sure that we all have the key points in here. So the first thing that I would pull out would be the responsibility of the Inca government when they first conquered an area. So what is the Inca government doing as soon as they come in and take over a new area? Elizabeth?
The administrators came and gave you a survey after they conquered you.
Okay, so they surveyed you. What were they looking for?
Resources and people live there.
Okay, so they want to know how many people live there and they want to know what resources are available. Alright, so next come in the IU, okay, which are the family groups. What do the family groups do in terms of economy?
Farm.
Well, so let's think bigger picture than that. They do farm every day, but what is their responsibility? Andrew?
They're in charge of distributing land.
Yes, so the IU decide how much land you get and kind of what your job is. And then finally, the last big piece in here were the kipu. What is the kipu? What's the purpose of that, Luis?
Was a set of multicolored knots used for communication.
Yeah, so they kept their records using those kipu, and that's also one of the Inca achievements that we need to keep in the back of our minds for tomorrow. All right, let's move on to Mita. And when you're reading Mita, think about how it relates to some of the other civilizations that we've talked about. Okay, so go ahead, read that and do that box.
Taking special care.
What year?
It was a type of tie.
No, it was on where the inflation taxes. Would they work in town, or would they work just like in town? They would wherever, so they needed a road all the way up to the northern part. But the road ain't being built, it doesn't take a year. No, but that's just what you would do. You would work on whatever project it was. And remember, they don't have wheels or cranes or anything like that, so they're doing everything by hand.
No, you look like so sad. What about Yama? Like, yeah, you're awesome. I mean, that does help.
They use llamas
Why do those claims always have it like slightly broken? They could repair it in time.
So if you're a heavy
I do too.
man,
Yeah,
but typically they use llamas to carry all their goods.
Yeah,
and stuff.
started like damn. So is it kind of like hard but they have to do at least 1 year?
Yeah, but what are they getting in exchange for that?
It's a requirement.
They get protection from, they get access to storehouses, they get access to education, so they get all of this stuff in exchange for their labor.
Wait, so the idea of people that were living there before.
No, I
It's like your service for the a requirement of service. So who was going to know?
Wait, so what,
It's a one-time thing. That's a one-time.
Yes.
Like the Egypt.
And so when you come back, then your uncle might go, and then your cousin might go the year after that, and then your aunt might go the year after that. No, it would be you, all your cousins, your aunts, your uncles, your grandma, your grandpa, everybody.
So like, what's extended family?
Text
And also your second cousin, your third cousin.
Twice
So
removed.
it's typically everybody who shares your last name. So if you think about all the people, or if you married into that family. Now, they were organized patrilineal, so everybody, if you got married, you know
Monetary. So yeah, instead of just doing it
well, you could see them, but you, for as far as like this goes, you were underneath the umbrella of your husband's family. So like I would belong to my husband's family. Like I would go into the rotation with his family and no longer.
Why would my cousin family go to?
Well, no, it was just that's how it worked. Because now, like my last name is my husband's last name. So I'm now part of this. Alright, so if we were going to talk about the Mita, what could we compare it to that we've talked about kind of previously? Rylan?
In the no, it was the Romans had this like thing where you had to work one time.
It wasn't the Romans.
It was Egyptian.
It was the Egyptians with the 4-day labor. So if we if we think about the quality of life with this MITA, so you're serving 1 year for your government. Is that a positive or a negative thing? Andrew, what do you think?
Well, I mean, I would think it's a positive thing because instead of having like your whole family's having to pay taxes, you just have to do this one-time thing and then you're done.
No, but each year, wouldn't you say?
Well, you still have to give like your farm, like your crops. It's a 1 year rotation. So when you come back, then your uncle would go, or your cousin would go, your brother would go.
I still think it'd be better than paying taxes.
So what are you getting in return for leaving your family for a year? What are you getting?
I mean, I like protection, like access to the schoolhouse.
Yeah, so you're getting a better quality of life because now you have access to the storehouses. You have all of the goods that travel up and down the roads that you're building.
Your family does.
Well, but you're contributing to that. And so when you get back, you have access to all of these things because you and all of your fellow citizens have contributed to these works projects. Yes.
So it's kind of like you've been there your whole life, like you're treated like.
Yep. All right. So let's move on to Amy, the reciprocity principle. We started talking about this briefly with the MITA, but go on, read that, and then do your box.
You also want to know